Hello, beautiful souls. This will probably be short because I probably pretty much don't have time. Excuse me, I would just stop driving. My hair is all over the place. So I just wanted to talk about the shift that I'm going through. Wow, I don't even know how to talk about it, but I've been getting a lot of downloads again, and it's great to kind of have my head back. And I realize, like, every time my energetic level goes down, I follow this same type of pattern to pull myself out of this like sinking place, this place where if your toroidal field is blocked or your chakra purposely blocked by witches or warlocks or whoever weirdos you deal with that obviously have no sense of self and self-control or idea of love. They want to believe that hate and destruction is the way to go, whatever, they're going that way. They make the play here. They help make the story here, and it's sort of recovering. That's where I want to leave that. I felt like I gave them and myself all the chances that I needed to in life, and I don't feel called to do anything anymore. It was like I was going back for my crown, for that last chakra I wanted comprehension of again, to know that I can lose everything and build it back up. And when you do that, there's a wisdom involved in it, and I kind of think all the time about Pluto and Hades, and you know, earning your way back up through the veils of that metaphoric story. And that's basically what you're doing when you do initiation with a right person, and they're not intended to body swap and doppelganger and all that. But when I realized that in the beginning, and Spirit was still telling me to do this work, I needed to do it. It's what was important for me to do, and I didn't get it. And I remember when I realized what a piece of SHIT the person was that I picked to work with for my partner. I just patted out, mad. I was never so mad in my life with my guides, which are me now. But that was what I needed to gain and learn, that I needed to make the subconscious conscious, fully awake to the Godhead, that God's not separate from the self. And in order to do that again, I had to get my heart, like as a child, when your heart is open and you're not scared of anything. And you don't need another person to do that, but Tantra was the path I went down. And I also was very adept at channeling through writing and poetry, and so basically was seeing if I could write my own story, which I did. Like, I literally was that conscious at that point that I was able to write a story and make the unconscious my conscious world. And so, having not been through all my purification processes of self-realization and knowing where I fit in that whole system, I leaned more toward the dark, definitely, than the light. And but at the same time, when I left the first guy that, I talk about effed me up, beat me up and everything, and I went to this next person who was just the same thing, in a different hood, different shaman hood, different animal face, but the same energy. When I moved into that relationship, I had wanted to heal from the past one, and so that's what my whole thing was. But I was into channeling and then poetry, and then realized everything I was writing was coming true, and found out that maybe I was dying of cancer, and it turned out that it was actually a genetic issue with how I process starch and sugar, and it created such a dip in my B vitamins and my whole mineral, and inflamed everything in my body, that they thought I had a rare form of cancer. And so, I mixed up with this person, getting the diagnosis after the person I was living with went in jail, and I'm trying to move them out of their house, and just all this stuff was going on. And I was at so much peace in my heart. I had never been so happy and free in my life. And then, well, I had more to learn, so I learned it. And So I don't blame the other, because the other showed me the shadow of myself. But they were someone who said from the beginning that they were a doppelganger and a time traveler, meaning that they had mastered their toroidal field and knew how to change and alter reality, which they actually didn't, or I wouldn't be here. Or, you know, they say that they're the unicorn of their cult and that they're the highest. So if they're that, then I guess I'm that. And they wanted that. And then they said, like, in order for their future to be right and not to be, you know, what I was, they had to do this. I mean, it's just this whole thing of swapping out your better destiny because they know you're better than them for their shitty, crappy one because they don't want to do the work. And in a way, when I was trying to do the work, at the same time I didn't want to do the work, I wanted to find the easiest, most productive way to do the work, and I did, from being persecuted, from going through what I did. And so I want to move into and branch out by my life from here, from these channels, to teaching just the things that I did to recover, which I always say bowing to cutting off the pendulums, the thought forms, meditation, bowing to the soul, opening the heart space, getting the toroidal field to implode. You know, every religion, almost every guru out there has always taught you the most difficult, hard ways. And oh, you gotta earn your crown, and you gotta go through hell, and you gotta have 33 degrees of BS, and it's gotta be this way because it's always been this way. But we're at a Kali age where they said in the script that all we have to do is be devoted. And where's the devotion? God, the divine, is within. So all the devotion poured within the chest, now many yogis are agreeing, just actualize, just become the Atman, just bow to your soul, because that's the only thing that's going to make the world a better place. If we are having a world war or a reset, which world wars are always stopped by complete resets, which are like a world war anyways. So a complete reset would decimate everything to dust and rubble, and we just start over. And even if the earth were to be wrapped up, we just start over. Even if Brahma were to wake up, we just start over. Nothing is ever lost. And when you get to that point where you can be at peace and realize that, and you can push all the people out of your life that are causing you to be ill and chaotic and dragging you down, which you'll have to do that more as you acclimate and build yourself up. And those people who are in your life, really, that's the reset. They have to be decimated and plowed out of your life, because they're your past energy. They're not your now energy. So pretty much everyone in your past is going to go. And if they catch up later, that's okay. But it shouldn't be when you're trying to build up your confidence in your toroidal field and it's really just self-confidence by bowing to the soul and keeping that heart chakra open for you. Like I talk about how I'd get into this ball, you know, when I was being tormented and had all these things put on me, demonic stuff, 4D, whatever you want to call, curses, tethers, shamanic BS, you know, the poisonous serpent. You could go on and on with symbology. It's all energy. It's all etheric. So, and those people who want to keep those lies going here of lack, they need magic. They need black magic. You know, like I needed that because I thought I needed a salvation and didn't understand my own. And so that's what I was operating at. And I'd gotten to the point where my word was enough. And so they cut me down, and I needed to be cut down because I needed to understand myself better. So I used to get on my left side when I was extremely suffering and just say, I love you, in a ball, you know, and I would call that being in my Shiva's egg. And I would literally think of my chest as everything. And that's like the Shiva Lingam, the pole of your center, the heart center, the chakra, you know, that place where everything comes out of, you know. People think of the toroidal field as two balls, and the energy that comes out, shoots out the center, is kind of like the phallic, whatever you want to call it, you know, your tower, your dolmen, it's not the right word, you guys know what I mean by these obelisks, the obelisk. So in another way, giving out of the energy and incorporating the energy and being part of the toroidal field here is all phallic, because it's all in the light, meaning we see it, we're expressing it, we're living it. But the more you meditate and heal from this stuff, the more you realize you're the Brahma. And most people want to be the Brahma in order to change reality, instead of being the Brahma in order to cease from reality. And my goal was to cease from reality, but I didn't know the way to go about it. And I needed to find the quickest way to go about it, and why I was going about it, and what was in my shadow that I wanted to give up and give out before I learned. And so I had to learn about my soul. What's my soul's mission this time? What's this energy? How do I get to a point where I don't judge myself or shame myself and there's no karma? And in order to do that, you can't have drama in your life. Like, you gotta just literally, like, even with clients now, I used to get the shittiest clients, and still do sometimes, but I basically tell them, like, your problems aren't my problem, and I don't have time here to sit and listen to all your drama. I used to be like that too. And I know when your toroidal field is sucked down and low, excuse me, I'm watching a hawk. They always fly over me at the perfect times. But representing spirit and one's higher self in the toroidal field. When I used to dance all the time, they used to just come over and fly over me. They like the toroidal field, you know? They like life force. So, I interrupted my own self with the hawk. But anyways, you are all that until you come to the place where you can express as all that. You got to clear the shadow, the trauma, the karma, the belief in dharma karma, because that system is what keeps religion and yogis and teachers and astral whatever. The need to learn needs a yogi, you know? So if there is no need to learn, and I used to write about all this in all of my writings, that you were the Atman guru, you were your own guru, you were your own best guru, and so people had to challenge me and cut that down. And so it's happened to me so many times now that now I'm just like, I'm not letting anyone near me who's gonna cut me down. No jokesters, no pranksters, no one who plays fuck you with energy, because that means to me that they're immature and haven't gone through what I've gone through. So I don't tolerate any of that in my life anymore. Like, even with the people I love, I'm like, nah, like, you're doing too much to you're pulling me down. And you can tell me that I'm here for you to pull, you know, oh, but you got to be here for me to pull down. Well, if you do that, you'll make me sick, and then I won't be here for you to pull down. So, and they're not self-realized, so I can't expect them to get it. So me and my tower and my books and my learning and my meditation every night, which I spend too much time meditating, and sometimes I don't sleep enough, so I have to take care of my health, you know, like, but this is more what I want to move my channel into, is talks like this. And when I'm in my heart space, in my toroidal field, which if you're in your heart space is and has always been in the movement, and it is as long as you're alive to some degree. I mean, people purposely want to be the Abraxas and have the lion head or the cock head or the war head and just be that little funnel down there that snakes. I don't want to be that. I don't want to be a dark mage. I don't want to be a lack belief. I don't want to be the child the mother didn't want, the soul. I bow to my soul, and the toroidal field works like the bull. It works like this. It works like is it Libra that makes that? No, Taurus. You know, the Taurus. So toroidal field. And there, all the symbols are that, you know, when you know oneness and you know tarot, you know everything goes back to the toroidal field, because that's what you are. So do you want your toroidal field, you know, to be functioning perfectly like this? Or do you want it to be all open at the top and closed at the bottom? And that's how I was when I was channeling, I would say, Abraxas and dark magic and all the Gnostic religious BS. But when you're open, your field's open like this, there's no religion. There's no belief system. There's you being the best toroidal field and system. And I can use all the religions and belief systems that are speaking about science of the toroidal fields of everything to express that. But I just want to be done with that, you know? Like, I don't want to go back into, if you look at Shiva, making the snake work correctly for him and being able to take the poison in the throat and turning blue, and then there's always this bull sitting next to him and he's got his flute, and All that is you making the music of your soul, your toroidal field. Being plasma, being energy, knowing that you're energy. So do you want to be your energy to be constipated? Do you want to be the Abraxas? Or do you want to be the fullness of your Godhead, you know? And to be able to seed with the phallic male or female, because we got our little phallus too, our little sword too. It's not lacking. Women have a uterus, it's just on the inside. So this whole thing of arguing about male and female is just more mire and distraction and bullshit. And it's for the ego. And so the more I wipe that, the more I believe there is no bond or free, and there is no male or female. And all of this arguing and BS, and I don't like this type of sexual expression and that, it's just like, I don't care. And I don't want to know your BS, and I don't want to know your belief systems that you want to make another religion out of with your language. I just want to bow to my soul. I know what I like. I know what preferences make me feel whole. And my preference that makes me feel whole is putting all my energy into my center, not somebody else. And I'm not against sex. I'm just saying sometimes when you have to grow too fast, you reach these states where none of that stuff matters to you anymore. And if you express that with a partner, it's something holy, which I always thought Tantra was when I was learning about it. And, you know, there's other people who studied it way more than me, but they used it as a manipulation tool. And I'm the type of person where my mind always was, being raised by narcissists, like low level and higher level narcissistic, dark stuff. And you know, and their enablers. I was the only one in my family that wasn't that, though you relate to that and you act that out in some ways. I had to learn to survive, and so I learned to survive. Excuse the motorcycle. And that's why I was so good with my mind at always finding a new way to survive. It's how I pulled myself out of the belief systems of all these religions and refused to follow any of them. I still do ritual. I have fun with ritual, but ancestors are everything. They're in the cloud, the plasma that stands before the witness of the moon. You can look that up. There's a plasma cloud between us and the moon. And it's like where the ancestors to me dwell. And yes, they may dwell also in star systems, and those may be the stars that you go to. And I talk about with your mind moving ever beyond these things, because everything is the plasma. Either whether that's in the shape of water, or it's in the shape of fire, or it's fire, water, it's plasma. It's energy. And it's these toroidal fields on whatever level moving ever on. You know, whether that's a galaxy or it's you. It's all the same thing. So improving one's mind and having the mind in the right state and not in the ego trash can is the only way you can create a better or more efficient world. Not putting your mind into this war and that religion and this person's suffering and that. If you keep your toroidal field right, the people who are with you will know you're a healer and that you heal, and they will behave in your presence. They'll respect you. Because if not, it's going to be their toroidal field that's cut down, not yours, because yours will automatically protect you. And mine has. And I submitted myself to that one last time to try it out. Time before that was to see if I could do to them what they did to me, and I know that I can. I can swap souls, because naturally your toroidal field and this heart will go out and engulf a person, and that energy will judge whether or not that person deserves to be in your field. It literally goes out and surrounds the person and pulls in energy. And that should be the judge, you know, not the ego and not the mind. And so when I realized that that's what my heart was doing, I went back to that person. And so they thought, even though I told them, hey, you're not breathing in your sleep because you got this thing that you took on purpose because you're dumb, and also you're using it to switch body forms so you never have to submit to the body and learn to let go of the ego, which you say you got to do in order to do this ever on thing in alchemy. But their alchemy's dark alchemy, blah, 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 the whole story I could get into. Internal alchemy is way more powerful and potent than external. External alchemy is for the darker magician, no judgment there. I just know because I've done it. If your focus is on the external and not the internal, it's a longer route. You may get money, you may get riches, you may be able to live longer, which is great because you have more wisdom. But if you get your toroidal field going right, you are a part of that wisdom all the time. And your heart and your energy and your soul and your body will decide when it's time to move ever on. Why fear a body? Why feel like you've got to stay here, jumping from body to body, or taking over doppelgagging, you know, and taking over somebody else's highest purpose because your purpose is too shitty. You know why it is? Because you don't believe in yourself, because you ain't got your heart chakra open, because you ain't bowing to your soul and loving it. The only time these people bow to their soul and love it is because they're so scared because they've hopped from body to body that if they don't bow and love this in fear, they know they're going to lose it and the other person's going to come back to their body. If that can be done, because the person will switch places with you, then try to get you to off yourself, either with, you know, suicide, which we're not allowed to say all the whole word in here, but you know what I'm talking about. They will make you so depressed and down with all these things they put on you and hooks and spirits, negative entities, that they will make you off yourself, or they will do it for you once they believe that old soul is in your body and they can switch places and take your destiny. So destiny swapping is a real thing. It's all over the internet. As I said in 2017, fire rises in alchemy. This is what's happening in the world. Scum rises to the surface. It's scooped off the metal so the metal can, the genius, can be refined. That's happening in the whole world. So the Templar magic, the Mason magic, yeah, they're exposing all their secrets now. You know why? Because they're trying to recruit. They want to tell you that Jesus never died. He would just choose to stay here and die as a human, and we found his graves. So what, in 200 AD, do you don't think that there were marriages where people were named Jesus and Mary and John and had children all together? I mean, like, how not? That's just like a normal pattern in this world. But the Templars found it, and they found magic. And yeah, my magical Magdalene family line. The ever continue on of the story here. Whatever. If you want to believe that, go ahead. I dug my hole deep into that belief system, and it's just another religion. It's just that Christ took his group of people and ascended. And that happens with these teachers and yogis and leaders, does it not? We're trying to attain that right now with people cutting into our monads and saying, oh, well, my higher self is Merlin, and just shut your mind off and you can be part of my monad. And hey, that's not wrong. I ain't judging. If that's what you want to do, do it. But there's something higher than that. Like, why wouldn't you want to be the Christ of your own monad? I learned through all these things of watching, listening, like questioning everything, and you should. Everything shouldn't be Nike and just do it. It should be questioned. And sometimes we just do it and find out the hard way after that Nike ain't the way. You know, I'm talking about the God, not the brand. And you can't brand a God and own it. So Nike's a God. You know, if you brand that God and other people don't know about it and you say that's your brand and you can cover it legally with your BUT, it's not real. Like, you can't own belief systems and words here, though people like try to, and they're trying to make a whole new religion. You know, as I've said before, it's going to be like Muslim/Christian, but worse than both of the two put together, mixed with New Age. And that's what's happening now. That's the next world religion. So the next new elite are going to be those that don't buy into any of this, if they happen to live. Like, but my goal is my own ascension. Whatever form that comes in, whether that's just wisdom and Sophia, or it's the dissolving of the body and the ego, which others feel then they have the right to come in and take over because you don't want your package and they want your package. But then they ruin the package and dissolve the package, and then the package just gets more wisdom, and then, you know, they screw themselves in the end. So that's how doppelganger works if you're awake, by the way, Mr. Bieber. So you build a new neural network if you survive, and then that person can't take ever again because you've learned the lesson. You're not going to give up pieces of your soul. And the heart and soul coherent, you can build a new neural network through love. You got a whole new mind, a whole new person, and a whole new body via the toroidal field. So those are more things I'll be talking about. Yeah, if you watch my old videos, I am in trauma. It is drama. Some of it's insanity, but a lot of it has very deep esoteric truths buried in it. But it's not the things you need to focus on. You need to bow to your soul, focus on your toroidal field, watch people who teach you about everything like Santos Bonacci, everything being the toroidal field. And this is why huge religions are built off the bull, because they're worshiping their own toroidal field and they don't care what shyster ways they have to do it, as long as they get their power to keep them. There's other ways to do it that are not about destruction. To me, destruction's like the kid that has to come along and, the kid that has to come along and smash down your tower, because that's what they like to do, and they're so impulsive and little kid. Whatever, that's where they are spiritually. That's who they are, and that's where the world is, and that's being exposed, and that's being wiped. So Church of Music, wipe your behind, because things are going to change, and you're going to be exposed. So grow the F up, because if you don't think you're all powerful and you can't be exposed like the old elite and they're naked, the kings naked, kings of this earth are naked, they really are just energy hopping from body to body and using others' bodies and minds and toroidal fields to make, what they want to make of themselves. I don't want to be the snake with a lion's head. I love my soul. I'm the mama who loves this soul, this creation. So, I've got the male with the soul. I'm not creating Abraxas. I'm not creating another religion. I'm not creating Marduk to Jesus and a cross and cross your head off. Don't cut down your own toroidal field. And yes, the cross means other things. So it doesn't have to mean something bad, but generally religions make it bad. So you curse your own self and your toroidal field, so they control that. Churches and cathedrals on ley lines used to be about building up the body, the esoteric Templar, but now it's not that. So guard your heart. Thank you.